So welcome to the webinar of Blue Sky. Today we have with us the team from Blue Sky. We have the team of Kreston RS and we have the team of STOKR. And we will be presenting you about the opportunities of the Blue Sky and their STO or the security token offering. And this webinar is organized by Blue Sky and supported by Kreston and STOKR. If you have any questions, I can see a lot of attendees are joining still now. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to write it on the Q&A section. We will take all the questions after the end of all the presentation. As a first speaker, we will have Mr. Andrea Ivancevic. He is from Blue Sky, and he is currently managing as a Italian representative of the Blue Sky Natural Resources, and he is also one of the shareholder of Blue Sky Swiss SA. Andrea, I will hand over the microphone now to you. So,
yes, thank you, Arnab. So I'll share the screen. Yeah. Okay, thank you and good morning, everyone, for joining. So Blue Sky Swiss, as you would easily understand from the name, is a Swiss-based company, which is participated 50-50 by two investment companies. The first one is Pharmatech Holding, which is again a Swiss-based company. And the second one is Blue Sky Natural Resources, who is a UK-based company with headquarters in London. The founders of Blue Sky Swiss have a huge expertise and background in the pharmaceutical, biological, and agri-tech sectors. This is gained basically by over 30 years of experience in multinational context and entrepreneurial projects. Coming to the company, to the business, so the company goal is the development, the production, so manufacturing and marketing and sale of innovative CBD-based products and services, which have a high level of technological, therapeutical, or nutritional value. This is to serve B2B in industries like pharma, cosmetic, and food. The business model envisage basically three phases, which are an R&D phase, a cultivation and harvest phase, and then there is the processing phase. The advantage of Blue Sky Swiss, we will see it in the next slide, is to have a fully integrated value chain. So from the purchase of the seeds, then the plants are cultivated in Italy. Why Italy? Because Italy has an ideal climate for cultivating hemp. Then there is the harvest, so the plants that have been planted are harvested, then are collected, and then they are transported to Switzerland, where is the second part of the business, where do we have a factory, a plant, basically, where the plants are processed and the CBD oil is extracted. This is made thanks to technology. I would not spend much time on this because my colleagues, Mr. Marco Amoroso and Professor Antonello Sania, will speak later on. So why Blue Sky Swiss can be considered, let's say, better compared to the other player, or aims to be like this? Basically because Blue Sky Swiss has the entire fully integrated value chain. This means that while the other competitors, they currently purchase the oil from third parties, then they bottle, put a brand on it and distribute it to the market, Blue Sky Swiss can control and manage all the phases from the purchase of the seeds to the sale of the final product to industrial companies. The integration of the value chain leads to two competitive advantages. This is very important. The first one is that the concentration, so the title of the CBD oil is up to 80% higher than the competitors. The second point, very important, is the active principle. It's even 10 times more than the average available on the market. What has been achieved so far? So the milestone reached by the company. The company is recently established as a Blue Sky Swiss SA, but the project started in 2014, more or less. In the period 2014-2018, there has been an R&D phase, study, feasibility, that led the first harvest that took place in September, October 2018. This was more, let's say, a research phase that was useful for the company to size the needed investment industrial. The second harvest has taken place in September, October 2019, and this represents the current stock available to be transformed into product. I say to be transformed because the factory plant in Switzerland is now under construction and will be ready in November 2020. So from 2020, the production and the process will start. Very important again, because it's not an easy one. All the license and permits are in place, obtained with the local authorities in Switzerland. And there are already commitment letters signed from industrial company to buy the CBD oil. This slide again is to show the importance of having a full value chain integrated. That's why we aim to be the first fully integrated CBD company on a global level. Just 2 words on the market. So our market preference, we know that in 2019 has been around $15 billion, so the global spending. And the forecast is for this number is to more than double in 5 years' time. So in 2024, we expect a global market value of around 41 billion. North America has a huge market share with 90%, but we are seeing that markets like Asia and Europe as well are starting to improve, and we will see increasing numbers, also thanks to more flexibility and new legislation. I think that with the speech of Mr. Pietro Boria, then we will have an overview on the legal side. Left-hand side, just a chart to show that as a distribution channel today, it's still strong, the retail and the online sale that account for more than 80%. Last one on the P&L. Of course, after this webinar, whoever is interested in knowing more can ask and write to us to get full details. 2019 was still the last year where the company invested. From 2020, the industrial process will start, so the revenues will start to run. And in 2021, as you would see the increase from revenues, it's because the capacity of the industrial base will be doubled. So from 2020, the business and the profitability will start to be there, will be a bit positive. Just a note on the COVID. Of course, the COVID has impacted everyone, all of us, most of the business. For us, the COVID didn't affect really the business, because we believe that there are positive points that our business can give for the cure for the COVID and in general for wealth and wellness. The only thing is that, of course, we had to postpone some activities. So there was something planning in 2020. We need to move it to by 3 months, more or less. So something will happen in 2021. That's it. Thank you very much, and I leave it to Arnab. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, for the presentation. And I see also right now we have around 116 people participating in this call, and the number is increasing. So welcome to all the new members who joined during the presentation of Andrea. Now we have with us Dr. Sania. Dr. Sania is the president of the scientific committee of Blue Sky, and Dr. Sania will present about the scientific aspects of the CBD industry and Blue Sky as a whole. Dr. Sania, I'm muting myself right now. Please feel free to introduce yourself and start the presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good morning to all. I am Antonello Sania. I am a medicine doctor. And from 1990, I have a research group strictly focused on phytotherapy and on vegetal matrices. At the moment, I am the president of the scientific committee of Blue Sky Natural Resources. It's a long period. We attend a profound research about phytotherapy, about medicinal plants, and about edible plants, which are not strictly medicinal, but which have also a great effect on the human body. Consider, for example, olive or tomato or wine or fruit or vegetal fibers. So we are focused for many years to study the health properties of these substances, and we especially study how to can extract at the best these active principles from plants to transfer this phytocomplex to obtain a special and very concentrated extract. We also apply to increase the bioavailability of these extracts. And we are obtaining now very important results in this field. Our main products is CBD. Cannabidiol, you know, is a very, very important substance, which is very diffused in all the world, especially in North America, but also in Europe and in other countries. Camelina sativa is an ancient plant which we discovered in these last years, and it is very, very interesting because it has a unique chemical composition. It contains, for example, omega-3 fatty acids, which are typical, for example, of fish. This plant is very rich in omega-3, and it is rare in the vegetal realm. But it also contains omega-6 fatty acids. It contains a good quantity of flavonoids or polyphenols. It contains phytosterols, for example, squalene and others, vitamins, soluble, fat-soluble vitamins, and many mineral salts. Thus, we are strictly convinced that Camelina sativa is a very good vegetal source, and we think it could be a good marriage with CBD to integrate and complete the activities of CBD on the human body. Moreover, CBD is a well-known substance, largely used in the world. Its use is rapidly increasing, and I say that the use is the increase of the use is more rapid than the increase in scientific knowledge. In this slide, I summarize the effect of CBD on the human body. You can see it acts in many districts. The district mainly interested is the brain. In the brain, CBD has a profound effect. It acts on neurons, on neurotransmitters, and it has an anti-anxiety, antidepressive, antioxidant activities. So it can relieve anxiety, depression, and it can help sleep. Moreover, it acts on the digestive system, especially stomach and intestine, where it has an antiemetic activity and where it controls the appetite. CBD is also active on bones, where it has an anti-osteoporotic activity because it increases the osteoblast activity and decreases the osteoclast activity. On the heart, CBD has a strong antioxidant activity on heart and on vessels of the body, and thus it relieves atherosclerotic processes. Finally, it is also active on eye. The activity of CBD on eye is related especially to the therapy of glaucoma. It can slow down the ocular pressure and thus it can relieve glaucoma. Moreover, it's very important to say that our CBD is a special product. The speaker before me underlined that the concentration of our CBD is very, very high, and it reaches also a number near 70–75% concentration of CBD. But we don't only obtain CBD from cannabis flowers. We obtain also other very important substances. For example, terpenes, for example, polyphenols, for example, fatty acids, which in other processes are almost completely lost. With our technology, we can recover all the substances present in the cannabis flowers and not only CBD. This is true for all plants, obviously, for camelina, for example, but for all vegetal substance we process with our special extraction method. So we can produce oils, very concentrated oils, vegetal oils, soft gel. We put this material in soft gel, which is the ideal way to insert our products to render these suitable for the final consumers. Moreover, this is also because the soft gels contains a vegetal oil which greatly increases the bioavailability because it increases the intestinal absorption. And thus we can prepare a lot of derivatives. For example, supplements, food supplements, food, cosmetics, and so on. Finally, I want to present Equilibrium Food. Equilibrium Food is a company which mission is to prepare very healthy food made with strictly biological vegetals. For example, we use only Senatore Cappelli floor, which is an ancient Italian floor, which has some advantages in versus modern floors. For example, it has a lot of fibers, a lot of vitamins, a lot of mineral salts, and more polyphenols. Thus, this is a very good substance to use for prepare pasta, crackers, and other salad and sweet foods. Equilibrium Food is now launching on the market its foods and also a panel of vegetal supplements, curcuma, nigella, boswellia, and in the future, other vegetal supplements to increase and to substantiate the health power of the food. So the best is a correct and health food and twinned with a good and high quality vegetal supplement. Finally, in the future, Blue Sky Swiss wants to increase the research field, and this research field will be made in Switzerland, in the Biasca industrial sector, and we advance our research to obtain also new technologies, new possibilities to best extracting our vegetal matrices, and new patents to apply to our new products. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sania, for the presentation. I also see many new people are joining. Right now, we have around 121 attendees. So for the new attendees who have joined, please use the Q&A section. I also see one question is currently there. Please feel free to add any questions and we will take after the end of all the presentation. Now for the next presentation, we will have Mr. Marco Amoroso. Mr. Marco Amoroso is a member of the scientific committee of Blue Sky Natural Resources, and he will give the presentation on how the production facilities are managed in terms of agriculture and production. And Mr. Marco Amoroso, please feel free to take the mic right now. I will mute myself. Kindly introduce yourself and present the Blue Sky for the audience. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Marco. I'm working with the Blue Sky Group and together with the scientific team, it is my pleasure to introduce the overview of the technical work we did. So I'm going to share a video that will be under my speech, so you can see some pictures and some images of what we did in the last couple of years, and you can have an idea about what we are building for the industry and what we are doing for all the investors and for us, that we are investors too, so it's also our benefit. So I'm a chemist. My name is Marco. I worked in many different fields in my experience, so it's a pleasure to introduce what we did. Blue Sky Swiss produce in principle valuable extracts from renewable natural resources. That is very important. The quality grade we produce enable to the extracts to be used for food, pharma, and cosmetic industries. The mission of our company is to ethically sustain the production supply chain of the vegetable species that we are growing. To preserve the natural characteristics of extracts. That is another key point, not easy to reach. To use the best viable technologies on the market for the production, and to adopt all process strategies in order to save and recycle energy and utilities. So what about the supply chain and the vegetable species growth? The agricultural areas we selected, looking for the respect of integrity and biocertification of lands. We selected the not polluted area, far away from industrial site. We ethically reward farmers that are living close to the plantation. The management plan of care and nutrition of plants is studied to use only biological nutrients with long and medium release to maintain the natural equilibrium of the already present organic life. A special plan also is applied to stimulate the natural response of plants against parasites and insects that like very much our leaves and our flowers, so we have to protect the plants. The sustainable plantation rotation is applied to maximize the production without the depletion of lands. This is another key point, the integrity of land. No use of pesticides or herbicides is allowed. Only manual rip of weeds is allowed. Lands are biocertified since long time, and for this reason are not polluted with chemicals or with other pollutants like heavy metals, for example. Agronomists and farmers look for the plantation daily to see any change and to react with a prompt response to any problem. The harvest is planned with the respect of ripening cycle of plants. Let Mother Nature do its work. We are not modifying this. And plants at the end gives back this care with producing an excellent quality of the extracts. This we saw with our research analysis, that the plants cared like this gives a very high quality of extracts. The industrial production starts from the raw vegetable material, so all what we harvest is stored in dedicated rooms. For fresh leaves and flowers, we iced the material at -20 degrees centigrade. And for other material like biomass or seeds are just stored in the cool, dry places. And the working process of raw materials is studied to preserve its high quality, and each step of production has this specific duty to preserve the quality. And all workers have this commitment. The industrial site is prepared in respect of safety, good engineering, and design practices. The power, the energy that we are going to use in the process is produced by a proprietary solar plant installed on the roof of the industrial building. The process gases are stored in dedicated pressure vessel outside the industrial site. We are going to use CO2 and nitrogen from liquid storage to gas use. All hot and cold water is used and recycled in the process, and we are minimizing its use, and no contaminants will pollute this water. So we are going to give back the water to the environment without any pollution. food grade solvent, in our case ethanol, that is used in post-process for the separation of high boiling point molecules, is totally recycled and not any waste is produced from our plant. The logic sequence of the process is drying phase, grinding of the raw material, vegetable material, the CO2 extraction of extracts of oil and molecules, a winterization phase, the pure extract recovery, and the final production. During the study of the process, we faced big challenges, and it's our pleasure to let you know what we faced and how we solved these points. First of all, the drying of the material. How to remove the vegetable water from the leaves and the flowers without damaging them. So you have to take in consideration that the content of water of a leaf or a vegetable biomass is about 70–75%. So it's a big and huge amount of water you have to get rid of without damaging the flowers and the leaves. We selected one of 4 possible technologies. We made lab tests and semi-industrial tests. We checked the performance, we checked the operative parameters, we optimized the process. So at the end, we are able to remove the water at very low temperature in a short time and without oxygen. So no oxidation and no damage. This is a very important step of the process. If you can produce from the raw material at this point a good quality, you can preserve the quality of the extract at the end. So second step is the extraction of active principle. Which technology can be used? We don't want to use solvents. We don't want to use hydrocarbons. We don't want to use solvents or chemicals because it's our choice. Other companies are doing. We are not. The only technology that preserves entirely the quality of extracts is CO2 extraction. Sorry. It means we are solubilizing the active principle of the raw material without the presence of oxygen, that is very, very important, and at very low temperature. So the challenge we faced is how to reduce the normal long time of extraction with the CO2 technology. And in this case, we studied co-solvents, co-extraction methods that by soaking effect is possible to optimize the extraction yield and the production amount. This is another key point because we can keep the production continuous. We can short the cycle length of extraction, and we can reduce a lot the operative costs. This is because of the selected technology. Third, how to separate the high boiling point molecules from the extract. That is another challenge, big challenge, because we need to do, we did a lab test, we made a lot of different, we checked a lot of different possibilities, and we selected a process using -40 degrees centigrade as a temperature chilling. So We selected the proper pressure vessel, the pumps, the gasket of the industrial unit, the filters we have to use, the control valve, the instruments. All the selection of these components of the plant has been cared a lot, because accurate analysis of material and applicable technology has been done. For example, to cool down the main reactor for winterization, we are not going to use a standard chiller, but we are going to use a CO2 chiller. So we get rid of the use of fluorocarbon refrigerants that everybody knows are dangerous for the ozone in our atmosphere. So this is another point that we select as a good technology without any impact on the environment. Another point is the selection of the filters. We selected only stainless steel filters without any waste at the end of the process. And even this is important. We reduce cost and we reduce the waste for the environment. Another key point is that during this process of winterization, we reduce and we recycle the energy for other process steps. This is a very big save of operative cost. At the end, how we can recover the extract without damage? So we selected the vacuum distillation. This preserves the quality of the material and the temperature of distillation, that you can imagine we can recover the final product at about 30 degrees centigrades instead of recovering the product after distillation at 120 degrees centigrades. That is a nonsense. No? So you are preserving the quality of the extract and then you distillate at high temperature? No, we cannot. So this is another key point, because we preserve from thermal degradation our product. Finally, we integrate all the operative cycle length of different process steps. We simulate the best, and we simulate and optimize the cycles, and we reach a high daily production with the highest flexibility, because we have to adapt our process to the natural variation of the raw material. We cannot do the contrary. We have to preserve the original quality of the vegetable species. So we have to be flexible, and we have to have the viable technology to preserve as much as we can the extracts we are producing. So thank you very much for your attention. Any question, I'm available.
Thank you, Marco, for the presentation about explaining how this production works and how you're using different technology to make the most out of it. Marco, I would have a request also. Can you please kindly close the screen sharing?
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now we will have the presentation from Mr. Pietro Boria, who is also founder of the law firm Palma Boria. And he is actually not in the call, so you cannot see him. He has recorded one video, which I will quickly play. And he is also the legal counsel for the Blue Sky offering and the Blue Sky operations in Italy and in Swiss. I will share my screen and the video is recorded, so just give me a few seconds.
My name is Pietro Boria. I am the managing partner of Palma Boria law firm, which is the advisor, the legal advisor for the security token offer by Blue Sky. Particularly, we have followed some legal steps of this operation. First of all, we require all the relevant opinion by Switzerland legal advisors and lawyers in Switzerland regarding the core business of the company. So we are very confident that the core business by Blue Sky is not subject to the authorization for drug sale and production, because the products by Blue Sky are not compared to drugs. They can be considered and qualified as cosmetics or healthcare products. Obviously, these products are subject to the relevant authorization by the Swiss authorities for healthcare, not for cosmetics because it does not require an authorization. But in any case, the company does not need an authorization for drug commercialization. So this is a very relevant point, because the core business can be considered absolutely feasible and compliant with the Switzerland laws. Secondly, we have analyzed all the corporate dossier, the set of documentation relevant for the security token offer in order to comply the laws by Luxembourg and Switzerland. To comply the laws by Luxembourg and Switzerland, and we are very confident that the memorandum of association, the bylaws, and all the corporate procedures followed by Blue Sky are compliant with the existing laws and can be considered perfectly legal. At the end, we have also followed the tax effect of the investment. We deposited in the set of documentation for this operation an opinion, a tax opinion about the framework applicable to the operation. In Italy and other European countries, we have a regulation, a very recent regulation of the security token offer, which is considered as well as a financial operation. In this perspective, we analyzed all the passages, all the steps followed by the company in this financial operation, in our security token offer, and we can confirm that the company has perfectly followed all the tax requirements, and so under this point of view, the operation can be considered legal and feasible.
I think we are at the end of the presentation now, and I would like to thank all the panelists for joining today's talk. Thank you everybody for joining this, and also I think we will also create a video and we will also inform all the participants of this call about any future activities of Blue Sky. So you will receive also an email after this. Please check your mailbox. And thank you for joining also this presentation. Thank you for the panelists for joining the presentation. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, and good morning.
Thank you.
Ciao.